again, we are live. This is the final episode of Savages in the Bronx, live from Studio 54 in New Jersey and REM Studio in Staten Island, New York, airing exclusively on Twitch and powered by StreamYard. And welcome back to the show. I don't know what the fuck this was. On this Monday, March the 28th, 2022, I am your host, Rich Rivera, and I am being joined by a better pitcher than Shelby Miller, Tom Wospil.
You're probably not wrong there.
No.
But, we'll talk about Shelby a little bit today, I guess, maybe.
We're going to talk about Shelby, a signing that came out of yesterday's Yankee news. We'll obviously get into it more on the Bronx is burning. But more importantly than that, we got an elephant in the room to address here, Tom, and I thank you guys for joining us here.
Take offense to that.
On this Monday, the 28th, Tom, I would never make fun of your weight, man. You're a beautiful, beautiful person.
Yeah.
Be outside. Savages in the Bronx. Let's talk about Savages in the Bronx. So obviously, we made the announcement last week on leading off. If you were staying tuned to my former Major League Baseball podcast, and of course on Twitter, we made the announcement that tonight would mark the end of Savages in the Bronx, episode number 30. So we end on an even number. And unfortunately, it comes to an end here tonight, Tom. And it's been a ride. It's been a fun 30 episodes, but I guess we should afford our audience a little bit of an explanation of what happened. And to kind of sum it up in a few words, it's just that time to move forward. There are some other projects that we're looking into, some fun projects, of course, that I'm sure you guys will be hearing shortly about. But as far as Savages goes, it's ran its course.
It's mostly that Rich has no talent and is unentertaining, doesn't bring good information. And I'm cutting him loose. So that's basically it. So sorry, Rich.
That's it. Yeah, Tom summed it up perfectly. There you have it. So Tom is the star. I'm a piece of shit on the side of the road, and he's going to move forward and be a star. Basically, what Tom's saying is he is Shawn Michaels, and I am Marty Jannetty ahead of WrestleMania weekend, of course. So
I'm going to kick you right through that window.
A nobody.
Mm-hmm.
And but no, we are moving forward with Savage in the Bronx. Other cool stuff might be happening, may happen, may not happen. Just keep us, just to stay tuned. That's all I'm gonna say. Just stay tuned. But Savages is no more after tonight. 30 episodes in the book. Tom, anything you got to say on the end of Savages in the Bronx? Obviously, we're gonna close things out later, but any comments on the close of the show?
No.
All right, let's get into it. Bronx is burning. You know who it is, buddy. It is the time of the show where we talk about the news happening in the baseball world, but mainly the Yankees, of course. Big news out of baseball today. Not really big news, but it was nice, wholesome news. Before we get into the Yankee talk, Albert Pujols making his return to the Cardinals for one more year, and of course announcing that 2022 is going to be his final season in baseball. That is some good news there. I always pictured that Albert would go back to St. Louis, do one more season out there. I also thought it was kind of difficult with Goldschmidt in the mix. Maybe a bench role for him would have been great. But now that the National League has its designated hitter, perfect role for Albert to make his return to St. Louis.
Yeah. Did he say it's officially his last year? Or did
he officially said that 2022 will be his final season. I will get the quote.
You kind of wonder. So I was looking up. So I know he's close to it. He has 679 home runs. Like, what does he do if he hits 15 dongs this year? Is he gonna attempt it? Like, I kind of want 700. I could just play a half season. Joining a very exclusive club. But no, yeah, it's just one of those cool nostalgia moments to see Pujols going back to the Cardinals. He's gonna have a limited role. He's probably just gonna DH against lefties. But the fans will love him. The Cardinals will make more money. They'll make up more than his salary and just the in Pujols, New Jersey sales, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So good investment by them.
And if you had his jersey like years ago, great. Now you have a brand new jersey that's been sitting in your closet for the last 10 years. Fantastic. Love to see it. Albert back with the Cards. And yeah, it would definitely be a DH role, maybe limited role. But you kind of have to feel like the Cardinals now have pressure on them, because if Pujols pulls a half a season as he did with the Angels, Cardinals are not going to release the guy. Like,
No,
they're kind of stuck with the fact that, all right, this is our franchise guy for the longest time. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame one day, repping the Cardinals colors. You got to think that even if a season where Pujols has a 140 average, is hitting 3 home runs, and they may have guys that should come up and help the team out, they're kind of going to just stick with Albert because this is his last ride.
They're going to do that, or they'll do kind of for different circumstances what A-Rod did and have a mid-season retirement. I think Pujols seems like a proud guy. I don't think he wants to hit $140. So I would guess if it's June, July, and he's not doing it, and they're like, we can't start you because we're a decent team and we're fighting for a wild card or something like that. He knows he can't be out there all the time, so they could do one of those where he does a mid-season send-off, and you don't want to see anyone go out like that, but you also don't want to see him go up there and look lost. So,
I agreed, and again, great news to hear that Albert is going back to St. Louis. Definitely a nostalgia moment at that. Fangraphs has him as as basically the platoon DH with Corey Dickerson, who is the recent acquisition. Corey Dickerson, a left-handed hitter. So, of course, they're going to be able to platoon against righty-lefties. But speaking of Cardinals, I want to talk about a former Cardinal who's now a current New York Yankee. Perfect segue there, Tom. Shelby Miller is now in the Bronx. Well, now he's now in Tampa, Florida for spring training. But Shelby Miller signed to a minor league deal, spring training invite. So Miller has a shot to possibly crack the AAA Yankee roster. So good for Shelby, because he ain't making it to the fucking majors. He's horrible. But 4.19 career ERA, kind of surprising. Thought that'd be a little bit higher. One-time All-Star in 2015. I believe he was with the Diamondbacks then. So Shelby Miller on a minor league deal with the Yanks.
Yeah, you figure he's a guy, like you said, he's going to be in AAA. He could be a guy, honestly, in the beginning of the year when they don't have the pitcher stretched out. They might bring him up to be a long man, to be it sounds kind of dumb, to be like a sixth starter.
Mm-hmm.
And then just once everyone's, they've warmed up and they can throw, 90, 100 plus pitches, they just cut him. That's probably what's going to happen with him.
Right. And I think that's kind of the move. I mean, you got to think with the 28-man roster expansion, it's only 2 more spots off the regular team. Like, I mean, you never know who might get hurt, if they might need that long reliever. So, yeah, Shelby, it doesn't – I was kind of mean saying that he has a shot to crack the AAA roster. No, he does have a shot to crack the Major League roster. Of course, I don't think he will. I think it'll go to guys who are going to be just simply better. Pars here in our chat. Mikey Pars 92. Thank you for tuning in. Similar to a Jeter year in terms of just let him play no matter what. Not batting up in the lineup, but still in regards to the Pujols signing with St. Louis.
Yeah, I think it depends if they're in it or not. If they're not in it, then like who gives a shit? Just let him out there, and he's earned that. He's earned that, and it's not going to hurt you if you trot him out there for that. But if they're in it and he's not playing well, St. Louis, I think everyone considers to be one of the best baseball cities in the country, and you can't just punt the year to bring Albert back, and
Pujols is easily top 3 favorite non-Yankees I've ever watched. I would say that confidently. Top 3. Maybe not number 1, but top 3, definitely. All right, next news piece. Move on from Shelby. And again, another fucking former Cardinal here. I guess it's St. Louis Cardinals making an appearance early on the show. Andrew Miller announces his retirement from baseball. A guy who I probably think could have gone another couple years out of the bullpen. He definitely retooled himself since becoming a reliever early on with the Orioles and Red Sox a few years back. Had a good 2 years with the Yanks, man. Striking out 177 batters while posting a 1.77 ERA. Coincidentally, that's kind of odd. But Andrew Miller, a good short tenure with the Yankees, a great tenure as a reliever since becoming a relief pitcher or converting to a relief pitcher, but has announced his retirement from baseball.
Yeah, and he brought us Clint Frazier, which at times was very promising, and then at times was not, and now is gone. But yep. Yeah, I mean Andrew Miller was he was so good in those 2 years. Like he was we're gonna get to a 9 up, 9 down later with our confidence rankings. You had the most confidence in Andrew Miller to come in and just get the job done. Big lefty, could get out righties. He was special.
Yeah.
So I mean, pairing him with Chapman at the time was a serious weapon out of the bullpen. Obviously he did a ton of work with the MLBPA during the lockout, essentially knowing he wasn't going to pitch this year, and then sat through all those meetings to get the CBA done, and then calls it a career. So good on you, Andrew.
Yeah, that's like a weird way to go out. Like you're a major part of those negotiations, but you negotiated a season that you probably knew then that you weren't going to be playing in. Very odd to see that, but
yeah, I mean,
calling it a career.
He could have aspirations maybe to work in the union going forward, or I was going to say work in front offices, but I imagine a lot of front offices aren't very fond of him at the moment from the show's over. We're shutting the lights off. A lot of front offices probably aren't.
Tom, keep it rolling. I'm going to fix this.
Yeah, so I don't know where he sees a future. Could be some kind of like agency situation. He could be someone who wants to be a coach. He did all this work in the CBA for young players. Maybe he wants to go a pitching coach. Maybe he wants to coach a little league team or a college team. Who knows? But definitely a great career. A career that kind of oddly, I feel like, just kind of fell off at the end there, which was weird for someone being so dominant. But I guess that some of that is the life of a reliever, that you go from being one of the best in the game, and then you kind of just fall off the face of the earth. He went from, in 2017, he was an all-star with Cleveland with a 1.44 ERA. Next year with Cleveland, 4.24, 4.45. So he just fell apart. But he had a stretch there from 2013 to 2017 where he had his highest ERA was a 2.6. So and a lot of one dot ERAs in there. So great career.
Yeah, great career for Andrew Miller. Definitely not a Hall of Fame career. Definitely not a very good career. Definitely a guy that you can probably hang your hat on. Hey, he was a fan favorite. He was a very effective reliever, one of the best relievers in the 2010s, and that's about it. But Andrew Miller, calling it a career. This is what I get for not submitting to Crippler Crip Walk all the way back in episode number 2. So knocked out my fucking screen. Screen was working fine for all these episodes. Decided today it was going to go. So we're going to go with a black screen in the background. But if you don't know the show already, that's too bad. All right. Last note here, and more of a talking point. Obviously, we know that the Yankees and Aaron Judge are in the midst of extension talks prior to opening day. That's obvious. A formal offer has not been made as far as we are aware. We obviously don't know everything. We're not inside people, but from what we understand, there hasn't been a formal offer yet made to Aaron Judge. Tom, I guess maybe you call it a bit of a hot take, which is like a fun way to spin this. But like, does Aaron Judge sign before April 7th, or do you think we're going to stretch this thing out into the season or beyond the 2022 season?
I would hope he signs before. I'm trying to look up because there was supposed to be. This is terrible show, whatever. I can't spell extension right now. I'm having a hard time.
EXTENSION.
Sure. There was a lot of talk that there was supposed to be a offer this weekend sent to him. But we don't know. We're not privy to that stuff. They could have been an offer. They could, the Judge's camp could have sent it back. So I mean, we'll see. I read I'm gonna find it now on Twitter, which is like very difficult to find exactly, but it was kind of like giving a lot of comps to Judge that based on similar age people and in recent contracts, he'd probably be looking at about like a 7-year, $190 million extension. Which I think I would sign up for at this point. He is 30, right? He's 30 now this season, I want to say. So he's not, getting this, extension at 28. He has had some injury history. I think Yankee fans would probably love him on like a 6-year deal, but I think you give him the 7 years and, whatever. It's not our money. We'll so they just pay him whatever. And let's move on with this.
And I want to say that, guys, don't worry. It's going to happen. It's a matter of when, not if. But then fucking Freddie Freeman just signed with the Dodgers. And I'm like, well, I guess anything's off the table. You just never know.
And we went through a whole offseason episodes saying, is it Correa or Story? Mm-hmm. Is it, do they get Freeman? Do they trade for Olsen? And then they did literally none of that. So, I mean, I think Aaron Judge has so much value as a Yankee. I think he's a, literally and figuratively bigger, larger than life baseball player and character, not much a character, but just like a presence that fits well in New York. So I think it makes sense, just give him, you'd hope just give him that fair deal, get it done before the season. Because I don't think, especially after you said the Freddie Freeman things, that's going to be the first thing on everyone's mind is like, is this going to be that same situation? And then, I don't know. I think it's going to make for an awkward year. Sign him, possibly give him the C for the jersey. Let's move on.
Yep. And I'll ask our Twitch viewers, and guys, thanks for tuning in. I see a few of you guys obviously in our viewership and commenting, and even M Took 45, Matt Tooker, our good buddy, Savages forever, man, love it. I'm gonna ask you guys, and I'll look at their comments after the next bit. But does Aaron Judge re-sign with the Yankees, and for what kind of contract? Does he re-sign with the Yankees, and for what kind of contract? We'll see those. I would like to see some of those ballpark figures, or if you truly don't think he's going to re-sign and where he might end up, I'll take a look at your comments after a player to be named later. But before we get into a player to be named, for one,
you can sign me up. I'm going to say 7 for 200. That's going to be my guess.
That's fair. 7 for 200.
7 for 200.
Yeah, I mean, you just mentioned 7 for 190 is the possible, so you're already going over 10 million, which I think is fair. I think the guy's going to ask for at least 2.
Yeah, that gets him like $28 million a year for 7 years.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I think that's probably about what he's worth. He's not, not Acuna. Some of those guys were like the Trout signing like the mega deals. I think that's a good deal for him.
Yeah, I'd say so. I would say, and I'm not even going to price this right. I'd probably say around that 7-year 200 mark is fair.
I just hope the Yankees aren't just like I feel like they've been doing so much this offseason, like saying like, all right, Aaron, we're going to offer you 5 for 95, like some bullshit offer.
Yeah.
Like,
you know how it's going to be.
It's just,
you know how it's going to be.
You do. And it's just like frustrating because it's like, you guys have more, like you just came out to be the most valuable baseball franchise by $2 billion.
And not only
like, just
that,
give them this money and move on.
Not only that, the money that you could have debated them on saying like, hey, like you guys signed Correa and Seager to big time money. You didn't get the big fish this offseason. You didn't go after the shortstop. You've said like, we're going to stick with Volpe and Volpe's going to be our guy regardless. Where's that money going? It's going to go to Aaron Judge. Let's cut the shit. All right. Before we get into the Judge comments and see some of your ballpark figures, just make sure to tell your friends about tonight's show. The easiest way, if they have the Twitch app, just make sure to subscribe to Savages in the Bronx. And that's the easiest way to tune into our show, obviously. And you get the view. And if you don't know where the link is, you can go to our Twitter page, which is going to soon terminate. But we're still up there at Savages Bronx. So you go to at Savages Bronx, and our link for the Twitch site is in the bio. All right. It's time for one last player to be named later. Tom and I are going to go back and forth with some hints on a former or maybe active Yankee, and see
I don't
how.
think we've ever done an active Yankee.
That's all right.
I don't think we've ever done an active Yankee.
We've never done an active Yankee because that's just too fucking easy.
That's
But
true.
I'm going to go with former Yankee once again here, Tom, because my guy, and I got to pull up his baseball reference because baseball reference is great again. My guy is an active player in baseball.
Okay.
And he's played over 13 years in baseball, but only one season with the Yankees.
I want to say Andrew McCutchen, but I feel like he was there for. Was it Andrew McCutchen?
It's Andrew McCutchen, yeah.
Bye.
And I'm sitting here thinking like, oh yeah, I definitely didn't give him enough there. That could have been a few players like that. It's Andrew McCutchen. Holy shit.
There we go.
Holy fuck, this guy tough, man.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was like I could have sworn he played for 2 years. That's why I was like, it's not. I don't think it's Andrew McCutchen. I couldn't remember how long he was there for.
McCutchen was a Yankee for a half season. Played 25 games to 253, 5 home runs.
He only played 25 games.
Only played 25 games.
God,
but remember, he was not a trade deadline pickup. He was an August waiver deadline pickup. So that's why he didn't have that many games in there.
So weird.
What was okay? B question here, Tom. What was the trade that brought Andrew McCutchen to New York?
I mean, it's like a waiver one, so it's not going to be.
Dude, I actually didn't even know the answer myself, and I'm looking at the two names that went in. You're not going to get either one. It's Juan De Pola and Abiatel Avellino. However, the trade that brought McCutchen to San Francisco from Pittsburgh. A big-time name went in that trade to Pittsburgh. That's still with them.
That went from
San Francisco, the Giants.
But from where?
2018 when the Pirates sent McCutchen to the San Francisco Giants.
He went. Oh, so McCutchen. I'll be honest. I kind of like lost on all this. So McCutchen went back to the Pirates after the Yankees. Is that what happened?
God damn it, Tom. No.
Listen, I got
the Pirates. Got traded to the Giants. Giants traded him to the Yankees. And
okay. For some reason, I thought he for some reason went from the Pirates to the Yankees. That's why. There's where my confusion was. So you're talking about the trade that sent him
to the Giants from the Pirates. 3
from the Pirates to the Giants.
2. Brian Reynolds. Was the correct answer. Brian Reynolds was an all-star player. Was sent in that trade from San Francisco to the Pirates and paid pretty good dividends. I mean, Reynolds is a decent fucking player. Not a bad substitute for McCutchen, who is their fan favorite, their franchise guy. McCutchen's my guy. So, Tom, what do you got for me, bud?
I have a mid-season acquisition who only played, half a year, roughly, whatever, with the Yankees in 2003.
1 year?
Yeah.
2003?
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Garcia.
It's not Kareem Garcia.
Okay. What else you got?
He's an infielder.
Infielder, 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously.
Baseball team.
Yeah. Player.
Yeah.
Is this player still active? There's no way.
No, this player is not active now.
The way you answered that, I feel like he's dead.
I mean, that would be very sad.
But he's not dead. He's alive. He's very much alive.
He is not deceased.
Okay. But he played in 2003.
Sure did.
Let's fucking go with Rondell White.
No, not Rondell White.
Son of a bitch. Who else was on that 03 team? I mean, Aaron Boone was on that 03 team. Is Aaron Boone?
It's Aaron Boone. I was gonna say he's a current Yankee.
Lazy son of a bitch. Going with the manager of the team, of course. Aaron Boone.
You didn't get it
that long. I mean, there's so many good things you could have said about that, but obviously you can't give the obvious. Oh, he hit the walk-off home run against Wakefield. Oh, he's the manager. But yes, Aaron Boone. Okay, fair enough. So Aaron Boone, Andrew McCutchen, That's our last player to be named later. A lot of fun. All right. Here's some comments in the chat in regards to the Judge ballpark numbers. Matt agrees with Tom. 7 years is the most I would go. He goes 7 years, 225 on that. So again, I mean, at evaluations, probably that'd probably be like the max, I would say. That the Yankees are willing to initially offer a 7 year, 225.
Well, that's not an initial offer. They would be, crying poor at that point with the way they act now, because now they lost so much. Whatever, I hate them.
Right, they suck. Mikey Parrs,
$32 million a year.
7 for 2. That's $32 million a year. That projection.
$32 million, yeah.
Mikey Parrs, 7 years for 215. Can see the Yankees offering 6 for 180 and not wanting to give that 7th year.
Yeah, 215 gets you 30, almost 31 million a year. 180 gets you that's 30, right? That's how the math works. Yeah, it's 30. So it's basically the same year,
And Core Ryan doesn't give a ballpark, but he does say, I don't see it happening before 4-7, thinking they want to see him healthy first. Now, I thought about that too. Would it be kind of a slap to the face to Aaron to be like, let's see how the season rides out, see if you stay healthy, and then maybe we'll talk?
Yes, because I think some of Aaron Judge's, he's had some freak injuries. He's had the broken wrist. Now, he did have the oblique, but he was healthy all last year, right? He didn't. Am I like just missing? Am I forgetting something?
He had the one stint with COVID that I remember, but other than that, no, he was healthy.
Yeah, so I mean, he is healthy. He just hit not that these matter, but he hit 2 massive home runs in Tampa.
Massive.
In spring
one
training.
Was a massive home run. The other one just got over the right field fence, but it was a laser shot.
I mean, he played 148 games last year. So it's a full season. He played 28 in the shortened season. I don't know if he had a COVID thing that year too. I don't remember in the shortened season. It's all weird. The 2 years before that, he played 102 and 112. One of those, he broke his wrist. So that was a freak injury. I don't think. I think especially just in a good faith to even like the fans, like you basically promised us. We're waiting for all these big free agents, like we've been saying. You gave us nothing. If you're then just gonna like dick around Aaron Judge, who is definitely the fan favorite, we say he's the heir apparent to be captain. I think if they sign him, they probably were gonna make him
definitely gonna be a C. Definitely gonna be a C on that arm sleeve or chest.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Jeter didn't wear. They didn't wear no fucking sleeve, no C's when they were captains, right? No, they didn't wear no C's.
No.
Yeah. But here's the thing: would you blame the Yankees for wanting to test how he is before they give him this kind of money?
Yes, because it becomes a free agent, and then you risk everything. Like it's like you gotta. And a lot of players don't want to negotiate in the middle of the season, So I just like, I don't think it's a hard thing to figure out. He's an older guy. It's not like, oh, do we offer him, do we buy out arbitration years and do this or that? I know they're technically going to go to arbitration for his last year here. I feel like this is a pretty simple contract. Like there's been multiple of these types of contracts. Again, I can't find the exact tweet, but they're out there. It's not hard to figure out this value. Just get it done.
And listen, and that's not me saying I don't think the Yankees should be re-signing Aaron Judge. Of course, I would love to. I love to see it. I'd be happy about it. But again, given call it freak injuries or not, they were, yes. Aaron Judge had one healthy season over the last 3 years. I think it is fair if the team wants to hold off for a little and see how he is before giving him big time money. In the same light, they have big time money to spend because they didn't do so in this past offseason. We'll see how it goes. Obviously.
I think saying one full season in the last 3 is unfair because the COVID year is so weird. You want to say 2019, fine. Like I said, the 1 year he missed major time once because he broke his wrist because he got hit on the wrist. I don't know what the hell anyone wants him to do about that. And then the year with the oblique, those are the injuries. So I think I think like the Aaron Judge is like this, dainty, injury prone, fragile flower. I think are like it's just like an out. I don't know. It's a worn out take about the Yankees and Aaron Judge.
I'll come back around to Aaron Judge when we get into our 9 up, 9 down in a little bit. But before we do that, it's been flashing up on your screen here, but our Twitters and Instagrams are still up, our personals, that is. You can follow Tom at
Waspil 54.
Jesus. And you can follow me at Rich J. Rivera. I would say you can follow at Savages Bronx, but again, page is getting shut down. So you can follow it if you haven't followed it before, but it's going to come down in the next few days. So don't even bother. And as always, our show is brought to you by Sincerely Allie Studio. And of course, we got to run it back one more time for Sincerely Allie, who was a great guest on our show previously. Did that great baseball logo trivia game, which was a lot of fun on the show. But let's talk about Sincerely Allie, of course, as this episode is brought to you by Sincerely Allie Studio. Since 2020, Sincerely Allie Studio has been customizing scented candles, wine glasses, and so much more. A lot of customizations. Opening day is nearly here, Tom, and so much more. And here you go, and so many teams right now are already thinking to themselves, "Oh, we're gonna be draping that Commissioner's Trophy in champagne." And listen, we might not be on the field. We might not be Yankees and trying to go out there and win a World Series and have that kind of celebration, but we can get our own whiff of champagne with Allie Champagne Kisses scented candles. It smells like a 28th World Series championship team, even if you don't believe in this current roster. But you can check out her Etsy page. That's Sincerely Allie, of course, Sincerely Allie Studio. Give her a follow at sincerely.allie. That's with 2 E's on Instagram for all things for your self-care needs. Sincerely Allie. And of course, we thank Sincerely Allie for her great sponsorship for all 30 episodes. And she's going to sponsor for one last time 9 Up, 9 Down. Of course, 9 Up, 9 Down, Tom Wospil's baby of all things. So Tom, thank you so much for your fantastic ideas as always, but especially this guy right here. 9 Up, 9 Down, which Tom and I are going to take some time and talk about this current team. And obviously, we've seen the team on the field over the last week. It's a little hard to judge the team based on spring training games, but at least going into the season, we have our own projections of what we feel is, what we feel good about. And we're going to do this in pairs of threes, Tom, as opposed to how we used to do this. So we're going to get through the list real quick. So, Tom, I'm going to start off with mine, if you don't mind, dude.
Sure. Why not?
Confidence rankings, moving from 9 down to 7. At the number 9 spot, I have the catcher spot. In this trade that the Yankees have made now almost a month ago with the Twins, they definitely created a new hole on this team. And a lot of pessimistic fans would say, well, there was already a hole behind the plate to begin with. But Gary Sanchez, legitimate starting catcher in Major League Baseball, can't deny that. And moving on from Gary over to Higashioka. And Kyle has hit very well this spring. Again, trying not to use spring projections here. I got to go based off what I've been seeing from Kyle over the last few years. Kyle will obviously get to a few, but this is his first real test of being a starting catcher. Unfortunately, Ben Rortvedt, still trying to figure out how to say that name. I think I said it right, actually.
I think that's correct.
Very good on me. Great host I am. Ben Rortvedt is hurt. Oblique injury. So he's going to be out for a little bit. The backup catcher situation, not really figured out. They got David Freitas and the fucking Rob Brantley down in camp right now, trying to work their ways to be a backup catcher to a guy who's been a career backup catcher. 9 spot goes to catcher for me. In the number 8 spot, I got the shortstop. Shortstop has been an interesting position to rank on this show last year because there wasn't really confidence in poor Gleyber Torres, but I feel good about Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I like what I see from this kid. And again, trying not to use spring training, but you love the defense, and that's going to be a big deal. Going to be curious how he translates that with the bat, but it's a guy who had 172 hits last year with the Texas Rangers. So it's not a bad spot. It's just we haven't seen him there. We haven't seen him in the pressures of New York yet. Got to give him the 8 spot. Got to, play it safe with him. My number 7 is third base, Josh Donaldson, 36 years old, but hitting some bombs in the spring right now. You feel good about what the guy can give you if healthy, but that's the biggest deal. It's his health. Is he going to give you a full season? If he's going to give you 3/4 a season, time will tell. Donaldson is in my number 7 spot, third base. Tom?
Yeah, so I start the bottom 2 are the same as your bottom 2. Catcher, number 9. Let's see if Higgy can do it over an entire season. He's been streaky. There's been times where he's hit really well. And there's been times where he certainly is not. And I think Yankee fans are going to see the difference now of no Gary Sanchez, and you can hate him all you want, but as an offensive player, he is well above average for catchers, which is basically a black hole in everyone's lineups now. Shortstop, I also have IKF down there. We know he's going to play good defense. The 172 hits, I believe, would have led the Yankees last year in base hits. So that's going to be a nice change for everyone who is tired of the, home run or nothing approach. Guys that just go up there and walk. He's going to be getting on base, putting the ball in play. He's not the fastest guy, but he's going to bring you some speed. He'll steal, a handful, maybe 10, 15 bases this year, something like that. So that's going to be exciting. And then at number 7, I have a weird one here because it was one of our strengths last year, but I feel like we never thought it was a strength. I have the starting pitching. Garrett Cole is obviously, he is an ace. He is a number 1. You feel good every time Garrett Cole is on the bump.
Yeah,
but after
Pirates yesterday,
spring training starts don't matter. He threw I think he threw 60% fastballs or something. Like they work on something. They say, I'm just gonna throw my curveball for 5 straight pitches. So it's whatever. I couldn't care less about pitchers in spring training. As long as they look, they came out healthy. But behind Cole, it's just a bunch of question marks. Is Tyone gonna be back and ready to go? I spoke with him a little bit down in Tampa. Not a lie. Talked to him a little bit on the side. Yeah, good guy. Said he felt good. I saw him throw a sim game. Struck out a lot of Yankees, but I would normally strike out like Joey Gallo. But look good. You Sevy back. It's Montgomery. How do we feel about him? He's been good, but then sometimes he just, I don't know. You don't have the most confidence in him. I don't know. I feel like it's a bunch of question marks.
Yeah.
So I have the starting rotation down at 7.
Did you just talk to Tyone down there? I should have talked about your spring training experience to start the show off, Tom. My bad.
You should have, but you are an inconsiderate fuck, so you didn't. Talk to Tyone a little bit. He was on the side. He had just done a sim game. He was very friendly and, just asking me how he was feeling. Says he's had a schedule. Nothing that he's not said publicly before, but, he said he felt good. He looked good on the mound. I think in the 2 innings of the sim game, he didn't give up a hit. So that, that's nice to see. But again, yeah, it's just I don't know. I don't have a ton of confidence in a lot of those guys. I don't know what the Shelby Miller trade, we don't think he's gonna be a big factor, or signing, whatever.
Who would trade for that fuck? Come on.
No, but there's even little things like the Twins signed Chris Archer today.
Yes.
I would have loved the Yankees to sign Chris Archer to a $2.5 million contract. Take a flyer on him. I don't know. It's just I don't have a ton of faith in the staff, and didn't have a ton of faith through him a lot last year. Then they just kept performing. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, but you're talking ultimate crap. Even if you sign Chris Archer, where is he going in the rotation, dude?
I just think another.
I feel better.
It's another crapshoot. Nestor there. That's I did. We forgot to mention him in the group. It's just he's another one. Love Nestor Cortez. Love what he brings, but is he real? Is he going to do that again this year? I don't know.
M took 45. Starting pitching is the worst, so suspect. And I will take that baton into my 6-5-4. My number 6 is the starting rotation as well, to all the points that Tom addressed. Too many X factors. Monty Severino, the biggest one of all. Don't know what the fuck kind of Severino you're going to see. And again, I keep saying it. I keep saying I'm trying not to use spring training as my backup here, but Sevy has not looked good at spring training so far in a couple of the exhibition games. But again, try not to use it. But it's a concern when the guy hasn't pitched. Now you want to talk about injuries? That's a guy you could point to and be like, oh fuck yeah, that extension was shit so far and has not paid any dividends for the Yankees thus far with Severino. So starting rotation number 6 for me. I got first base at 5. This group is actually I got the next 5. I feel all right. I feel pretty sad. It's now more of a preference thing. 5, first base, Anthony Rizzo. I mean, you can't. I love Rizzo. I love having him back on the team. Was he the guy that I thought the Yankees would go with at this time? I didn't think Rizzo would actually come back. I thought that with the internal options they had, they might have gone shortstop and prioritized that. Maybe kicked LeMahieu over the first base with the majority, or if they had still had Voit. But hey, Rizzo's back. I'm happy with Rizzo. I love the team leadership. Rizzo in at number 5, first base. Number 4 is second base, because the Yankees have 2 second basemen, one of which is feeling really comfortable back in his old spot, Gleyber Torres, and a guy that, hey, listen, you hope that you can get a little bit of that 2019 juice ball Gleyber. Don't know if it's going to exist, but hey, guy in his more natural position, you never know what might happen. And DJ LeMahieu, who's coming off his core injury fix over the offseason, he definitely looks stronger over this spring training. Again, trying not to use spring training as my backup, but clearly I am using it as my backup.
You sure are.
But LeMahieu, come on, guy who finished second place in the MVP, second or third place in the MVP voting 2 years ago in the shortened season. I feel good with the depth we have at second base. That's my number 4. Tom.
Yeah, so I for number 6, I have first base. Rizzo, we feel pretty good with him defensively, but he's another year older. Like how much he does. He's a lefty, puts the ball in play, but how much is he age kind of continuing on here? Third, I have or fifth, I have third base, and I almost could have put it higher. Honestly, I'm pretty high on Josh Donaldson.
Okay.
We love Gio Urshela. He was someone who, when we
Yes,
went
we
through
do.
our confidence rankings before, we always had a lot of confidence. The ball's going to hit them. He's going to make the play. He came up with some big hits. He's not. Josh Donaldson is a much better baseball player than Gio Urshela. And Gio Urshela, Josh Donaldson's going to have a much more productive next 2 years than Gio Urshela are going to have. He can be a menace, a terrifying part of the lineup. I think if this lineup stays healthy and he's hitting like 6th or 5th or 6th, that's a pretty scary situation. Hits the ball hard. He does play pretty good. He plays solid defense. So I think he's going to be good. And I think he's going to, I know one of the reasons you wanted Carlos Correa on the Yankees was to bring some of that heel energy to the Bronx, the bad guy.
Love a good deal.
Josh Donaldson is a bad guy.
Oh yeah.
He's not a bad guy like he's a bad guy, but he is just like a mustache twirling, like I'm gonna like pimp homers, I'm gonna like yell at pitchers, and like I'm gonna be the bad guy of the team. And I think they need that. I really am excited for Donaldson after like not knowing what to think about for a little while after the trade. Got pretty excited.
So it's safe to say that your initial reaction to the Yankees making that trade to now has changed.
Yeah, I think at first it was because at first I don't remember if you and I talked about it. It seemed like this is the move before the move.
Yes,
it's like we did this. Now what's the next thing? It was like do they trade Gleyber? Do they trade someone else? And are they going to try to get Story to But then obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
And it's really, he's a good ball player. He really is. He's won an MVP. Granted, 5 or 6 years ago, still won an MVP. He is a scary batter. He's someone that, as a fan, when Josh Donaldson comes up in a big spot, you get worried. You get worried of what he's going to do. And I think that it's going to really put a lot of stress on the opposing team. You get a few of the Yankees hot in the lineup at the same time. I think it's just going to be a scary situation. Then yeah, I do have some high expectations for Donaldson, not MVP, but obviously, a feared part of the lineup. And then my number 4 position is second base. Again, it's funny to have number 4. We don't know who's going to be the starting second baseman.
Right.
Like is it? I really don't know. Like you would. Both sides of it make sense. Is it Gleyber Torres, who is still young, who has had a good spring? He's looked good. Or is it DJ LeMahieu, who you signed to like $100 million contract last year? Or are you just going to have him sit the bench? Like the Yankees still seem like they're one move away from like finishing this roster, which is weird.
Right. And it's strange because like you look at a site like Fangraphs, which is pretty refutable. Obviously, it's a fan run site, but as far as the depth charts go, it's pretty legit of what's going to be happening in the season. They have DJ LeMahieu starting the season on the bench, but as we know, LeMahieu probably will be in a position where he's in the lineup every day. It's just what position is he playing? He will start games at first base over Rizzo. He will start games at second base over Gleyber. He will start games at third base over Donaldson. He might DH a little bit. He's going to kind of fit into that role. When the Yanks initially signed him to a 1-year deal back in 2019, kind of a guy that you're going to get in, you just don't know where he's going to play. And that's the sort of role that DJ is going to play for this team. How it's going to translate, we'll see. But it's very weird to see a guy who finished in second place, third place, whatever, in the MVP voting, had led the league in batting. And I see him on Fangraphs after his extension, and he's on the bench here. So you got to figure he's going to be a major part of this team. It's just the consistency of where he's going to play isn't there. So very curious to see how his role plays into 2022.
Agreed. Yeah, it's such a weird situation, but we'll see.
Tom, 3, 2, 1, and we could just give it to you like this, guys. Tom and I are in agreement on our 3, 2, 1. So Tom, hit the fans up with your number 3. Well, with our number 3.
Number 3, we have the outfield. You have Judge, who again is when healthy, a top 5 MVP guy in the league. You have Stanton, who he's going to play more outfield than he did last year, hopefully. He plays a pretty respectable outfield and also a terrifying bat. You have Joey Gallo, who he's hot and cold, but he's a Gold Glove winner in the outfield. It's another situation. Like, I don't even know who's going to be the normal starting outfield, because then you obviously have Aaron Hicks out there, and then you have Brett Gardner, who will be re-signed shortly, and Brett Gardner will be playing probably 120 games for the Yankees this year. Brett will be there. Rich loves Brett Gardner.
No, I don't.
But what is the starting outfield? Opening day. What's the start? Opening day. I think we're kind of like derailing here, but whatever. It's a laugh show. Nothing matters. Well, what's the lineup opening day? And let's not worry about lefty righty. I assume it's gonna be righty because I think.
Do you want me to give you a realistic lineup or what Rich's lineup would be?
The realistic lineup. What's that lineup gonna be?
Or at least lineup.
It doesn't have to be in order, but who starts first, second, around the horn.
If is truly going to be in this role where he's going to be in the lineup of flexing in and out of the end, and he's going to lead off, I would think.
What position is he
going to lead off?
Is he going to DH?
I would say opening day. Fuck, I'd say opening day. Maybe he. God.
That's the thing. This team is so weird.
You gotta put him over fucking Gleyber, second base, natural position.
So okay.
And I also don't know the matchup. I don't know who the pitcher is going to be for. I mean,
okay. Let's take out opening day. Let's say what is the normal lineup the first month of the season, assuming everyone's healthy? There's going to be, you're always going to give some people some spells, but who are the starters?
I would say
Rizzo. I mean, obviously you got Higgy behind the plate. You got Rizzo at first.
Right.
Is it?
I gotta say it's probably gonna be fucking DJ still. They're gonna work him into the lineup, and if you're gonna say, hey, it's a best 9 situation, DJ's in it. You're not gonna toy around, because I've seen this too. Fans want Gallo left, Judge center, Stanton right, and then basically Torres DHing or Donaldson DHing with LeMahieu playing third. I saw that, and I'm just like, do we give a shit about defense or not? Or we just don't fucking care anymore?
I don't know.
This team is clearly
looking
at
a defensive. You can put Gallo in center. Gallo can play center.
Can we agree though that this team is trying to be more defensive than offensive with the moves they made?
Yeah.
So if we're playing our best defense, then LeMahieu starting at second base over Gleyber Torres, and everything else remains the same. Why would you put a guy who's a right fielder in center field? Yes, he can play the position. He shouldn't be out there.
You have Gallo in left, Hicks in center, Judge in right.
Yes.
Giancarlo DHing.
Yes. Yeah. If we're really truly pushing a defense first mentality, that's what you do. Offense first is a different story. Then you do the fucking MVP baseball lineup. You have the 3 mashers out in the outfield that one could possibly play it better than the other 2. Donaldson's at third. Torres
Maybe,
is
but I mean,
DHing.
Judge is a good outfielder. Stanton is an above average outfielder, and Gallo's a Gold Glove winner. They're not like the fastest outfielder in the world, but that's I think one of the weirdest things going on into this year is
Here's a M took
is this
45
team
lineup. We're definitely going over time. M took 45. Fuck, it's the last show. M took 45. He's got DJ, Judge, Gallo. Good God, Gallo 3. Stanton, Rizzo, Donaldson, Torres, IKF, Higgy with no positions there. I would assume that it's my fucking all-star.
It's either DJ or Glaber
No,
DHing.
you got to think that you got to think that he's got
that's-
Judge, Gallo, Stanton in the outfield.
Yeah, so it's DJ or Torres DHing.
DJ or Torres or Donaldson DHing with DJ playing third.
I guess. I think Donaldson's a better defender at third than.
But again,
DJ
you're kicking people out of their natural positions here, so you can try to get the best lineup out there. And I'm telling you, the team is resorting to best defense first now. That's why they traded Sanchez. That's why they upgraded at first base over Rizzo. You look at the team from last year to this year, defensively, they have definitely improved, and you can't take that away from them.
They have. They have improved defensively. I think it's going to be a very weird situation. But
let's finish off this list.
Yeah, finish it. Yeah. So,
right,
we have
3 outfield. We're in agreement there. Number 2, the bullpen.
We have the bullpen.
I feel fantastic about the bullpen. Clay Holmes, Wandy Peralta, Michael King. Not big back end names that you pay big money to, but are gonna do some good work out of that pen. Alberto Brady.
They're not even the back end. The back end's really it's Chad Green, Jonathan Loaiza, and Chapman.
I feel great about the front end. I mean,
you should.
And this is a team. They did. Oh, Lucas Licky. Forgot about him too. It's a good bullpen. It's a bullpen that honestly, if they wanted to add somebody else, sure. Do they need to? Not really. I feel good about this bullpen. Number 2 and number 1, we have the designated hitter, Giancarlo Stanton. And how can you not feel good about Giancarlo after the year he had, staying healthy, coming up in the biggest clutch spots of the season and delivering? Basically, that's the guy that you traded for years ago, and he gave it to you and more in 2021. Didn't give you a 59 homer season, but he did a lot for this team.
I wonder at what point Yankee fans, and by Yankee fans, I mean our parents' age of Yankee fans, are just going to embrace him because he's really, really good. He hits the baseball really, really hard. He plays decent defense, and I don't know. It's just you wonder when people are gonna come around to him and not boo him. He's gonna give you some ugly at bats. It's just that's what he is. But outside of those ugly at bats, he's gonna give you 2 or 3. It will be 2 or 3 times this year for a week where he wins an entire week's worth of games by himself. He's gonna hit 2 homers and a double. And he'll roll through that. He'll have a 6-game stretch where he hits 5 homers, 7 doubles, and he's just you can't get him out. And that's big.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, Giancarlo Stanton, number 1, designated hitter spot. Feel good about it. And even if we're not talking about Stanton, people are going to rotate in and out of DH, and you got to feel good about who's in that spot because it's going to be an Aaron Judge sometimes. It's going to be a Donaldson. It's going to be a LeMahieu on certain days. It might be a Gallo. So that spot is always going to be filled by a player with some substance there. So the DH is number 1 for us, and that is it for our final confidence rankings, our final 9 up, 9 down. Before we get into our last bit here, let's talk YouTube. And ever since our last episode of Savages, I managed to get every single episode uploaded to YouTube. So from episode 1 to 29, you can view it on our YouTube page. And of course, tonight's episode will be going up on the page soon. So even though Savages is ending, you can keep the memories and you can follow us on YouTube, even though we're not going to be posting things anymore. But our videos are always going to be up on YouTube forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. So there you go. All right. Last bit, guess the graph for one last time. And usually we do this with an on-air guest. So I'm definitely going to rely on our Twitch viewers here. And I thank you guys for staying tuned. It is now time for Guess the Graph. Guess the Graph. Holy shit. Guess the Graph, brought to you by Mr. Wospil himself. And let's take a look at Tom's ball today. Tom, keep your pants on. Here we go.
Hmm.
Tom's ball.
I'm not wearing them right now. So.
Oh, good man. Taking advantage of the Zoom era of work. So there we go. There's Tom's ball. And I took a look at Tom's ball before. Very white, very big. But I don't know who that is. It kind of looks like, I mean, is it someone, I would guess it's somebody affiliated with the Yankees for the last show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Definitely affiliated with the Yankees.
Because I initially read that as Pookie Reese. Pokey Reese. I don't know why, but
Pokey Reese. That would be.
I saw
more
Pokey
Pirates
Reese
talk.
But let's see. All right, we got a guess here. I would think Paul Neal.
It is not Paulie.
Julio Rivera.
You know what? It's Julio.
Yes.
It is your father.
Yes, I don't know.
No, it is not. It is not Julio.
All right, what do we got here? Let me take a shot in the dark guess here. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna assume that middle, the first initial of the last name is S. I feel like I see an S in there. It's not an S.
It could be.
Oh, it could be an S. Oh,
I guess it could be, right? Or it couldn't be. It's one or the other. It's either an S or not an S. I'll give you that.
Let's go with what the fuck, man? I don't even know. This is a weird one, man.
I gotta say, I feel like I don't know, because I will say this was one acquired this year down in Tampa. And I almost feel like the pen didn't work exactly on the first letter of the first name, but then I remember seeing him sign other balls and it kind of looked the same.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's just how he signs it.
Who is in camp this year. Is it an active player?
It is not an active player.
Okay. Very good. All right. Now
there's all kinds of guys. There's all kinds of guys down at camp.
Oh, shit. Too. Is it? Oh, wait, no. You used him on the show before. I was going to say Swisher.
No, it's not Swisher, but I did see Swisher down there, and he was being a clown.
Yeah, of course. Core Ryan goes Alfonso Soriano.
I wish. I love him, but no.
Now I'm specifically thinking of people who are in camp, and I don't remember everyone who was down there. Mm-hmm. How about CeCe?
No, not CeCe.
It wasn't CeCe.
Didn't see CeCe down there.
Don't have him on the wall. This one got me. I think this got a lot of people here in our chat. Any other clues here, Tom?
Yeah, not an active player. Former Yankee.
Yeah.
How do I want to give clues here? Don't know. I think you're gonna be very mad at me when I tell you who it is.
All right, we got another guess. Willie Randolph.
Not Willie, but did see Willie down there.
We might have another guess here.
Did see Willie down there. Willie, very fan friendly. Talk to people, joking with.
Is it an offensive? Was it an offensive player? Was it a pitcher?
Offensive player.
Offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Offensive player, former Yankee, down in camp, signed this ball for Tom. Met Tom, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Oh man, who the?
You're gonna be mad. You're gonna be mad at me, Rich.
Oh, I'm gonna be so mad at you.
You are.
Did this player win a World Series with the Yankees?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, Core just guessed Bernie, so obviously it's not Bernie.
Not Bernie.
Is it? I mean, he usually comes down to. No, he won a World Series though. I was gonna say Matsui. Fuck.
No.
I don't know, man.
No.
I feel like this would be lame if I just can't get this right, or we can't get this right, and you just win.
I know.
Win.
I'm trying to think how I can give more clues, or I could just tell you and upset you.
You know what? At this rate,
you know what, Rich?
9:00. Tell me and upset me.
Rich, I did it to you. I doubled up. It's Aaron Boone. Boone
you
baseball.
Never do that. You never do that. You never do the player to be named and the fucking guess the graph for the same guy. You son of a bitch.
You. Former player, current Yankee.
Oh, come on.
Aaron
You make me
Boone.
sick. You make me sick. doing shit like that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you fucking maybe. Yeah, you pissed me off.
That's a B at the end there. It's like a B, and then I guess like an E.
So
I don't know where the A fits in
Boonie's
there.
autograph. So tell us about Booney.
Booney, that was I didn't really. We were leaving. The last day we were there checking out the camp. Camp was cool. Didn't see any games, but they did open the stadium up to practices, so you're able to go in the stadium, watch BP, because you can watch like the simulated game. They had the concessions open, so you can get some food. You can get a chicken bucket down in Tampa, same chicken bucket as in New York. It's fantastic.
Solid chicken bucket.
Beers, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, so we're leaving, and I forgot who I got right before this, but if any kind of this game continues, I can't tell you. And then about to leave, and I thought they were looking at some coaches still talking, and ended up being Boone coming back.
Shit.
And just got Booney on a ball. So
damn.
Yeah.
Very good. Do you guys exchange any conversation, or is this a quick like, hey?
This was there's a lot of people there, so
okay.
Where Jameson Tyone, I talked to you about his coffee, drinking, and all this other fun stuff. Aaron Boone was just Aaron Boone was like how a lot of these autographs goes. You kind of stick your hand out there and you just hope he takes your ball.
There you go. Aaron Boone added to the collection over Tom's right shoulder. And of course, wouldn't be a guestograph without a stump job. So he stumped us all with Aaron Boone for our final guestograph. But
I mean, listen, the Savages in the Bronx is named after the Savages in the Bronx Aaron Boone rant. We had to double Boone it.
You know what? You're damn right about that. You're damn right. You tricked us all. Fuck you.
Did I think about that before we started? No. Did I have a player to be named later when we started? No. And I'm like, it'd be really funny if I did Aaron Boone.
Yep. And if I get rich one more time. Very nice, dude. Very nice. All right, let's call it a show, man. We went a little bit over time, but it's okay. It's the final show, and Twitch ain't kicking us off anytime soon. But let's put a fucking knot in this thing called Savage in the Bronx, man. 30 episodes in the books. A lot of memories made in just a year's time, and it was a lot of fun. Obviously, sad that it's coming to a close here, but we have a lot of good people that we want to thank before we click this end broadcast button and call it a show. So want to start with my inner circle. I want to start with my family, mom, dad, Danielle, my girlfriend Alana, and my closest friends who always tune in, and I appreciate you guys. I want to shout out a few of those close friends and some who have even been a part of the show. We'll start with that. Joe Puglisi, Corey Favaloro, Joe Stern, guys who have been on the show multiple times, great contributors to our show. I thank you all for being a part of it. Also, got to call out a couple of two-time guests on this show. Start off with my former co-host of Leading Off, Alex Esposito. You guys know him better as Espo, of course. I want to thank Espo for being a part of the show and tuning in in the chat. And also, The Ringer Zone, host of New York, great podcast on Spotify and Apple. JJ, Mr. John Jastrzemski, want to thank him as well for showing up a couple times in the show, and really cool guest that Tom and I had a chance to talk baseball with. And of course, I want to shout out all the other remaining guests: Dan Checkley, Julian Galarte, Jake Montgomery, Kyle Maslin, Joe Rivera, and Mark Schwartz, formerly the Somerset Patriots. Thank you guys for jumping in and talking New York Yankees. Also got to shout out the Chooches in the chat, of course. Matt Tucker, Hey Arnold, Cor Ryan, Greg Kandari, John Hernandez, AJ, Mikey Parse. So many people to thank. I want to thank you guys all for participating in the chat as always. Got to thank our wonderful sponsor I did before, Sincerely Allie Studio, Allie Arado, also a former guest of this show. Allie, keep doing what you love. We love your products, and if you, the viewer, hasn't done so already, make sure to give her a follow on Instagram and buy some goddamn candles for God's sake. I also want to thank all our platforms. They don't care that I'm thanking them right now. Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, StreamYard. Special shout out to the band We Have a Tripod, who provided our theme song for these 30 episodes. I also want to thank the New York Yankees, of course, because without them, we wouldn't have a show. Simple as that. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my co-host, Mr. Tom Wospil. I thank you for your time your dedication to the show, your dedication to the craft, all the great ideas you brought on, including 9 Up, 9 Down. It's been a fun ride, sir. And I look forward to our Pats, because I know our Pats are going to meet again sooner than later. And I look forward to seeing what you're going to be doing soon. So thank you, Tom, and thank you, everybody. Tom?
I got nothing.
All right, fuck you. Had enough of your ass anyway. All right, everybody. That's a show. Savages in the Bronx. 30 episodes in the books. We appreciate you. We love you. Let's go Yankees. And take care.